So I'm Brianna. I am from Activision Blizzard. I'm our global talent brand manager. So I sit in talent attraction and employer brand. So today we're going to talk about employer brand and alumni networks. So a little definition or overview of employer brand. In its simplest form, employer brand is the image a company projects to attract and retain talent. And a strong employer brand can influence a job seeker's perceptions and decisions. So with that in mind, I would love to actually see a show of hands here of who's already feeling like they use employer branding or really know what employer branding in their alumni networks. Couple of hands. Okay, cool. I love it. So if you didn't raise your hand, hopefully what I'm going to share will give you some ideas of how you can not only bring employer brand into your organization, but make it a core part of your alumni network as well. And before we jump into that, I got a great introduction about who we are, but I'm going to show you a video of Activision Blizzard because that's what we do when we're an employer brand. I do have to ask, who here plays at least one of those games or has played them? Yeah, okay. So I do hope you like videos because I have a few more of those, but I want to share a little bit about what our employer brand is, what we look like. I think that video is a great example of how we project who we are onto our talent. So the video game industry is actually incredibly massive. It's bigger than both the film and music industries combined. So we are home to some of the biggest game franchises, and those include Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and of course Candy Crush. And now as part of Microsoft and Xbox, we are comprised of 3 unique businesses. So Activision, Blizzard, and King. We have our own branding, our own culture, and our own games for each of those brands. And as of last year, we were a little over 13,000 employees, and we have 400 million players worldwide. Now, before I really show you what our employee network or alumni network looks like, I want to share an overview of our employer branding strategy. I think this really sets the scene for how we're utilizing employer brand. Our vision is to be seen as the destination employer for diverse, passionate, and innovative talent in the gaming and media industries. And the way we do that is by exciting and engaging potential talent with impactful storytelling that showcases our people, our culture, and how we're unique. And of course, potential talent does include alumni. So our strategy is broken down into 3 core pillars. Those are 3 external facing and 3 internal facing. Now, I'm not going to really deep dive into any of these, but as we think about alumni networks, our network can really fit into or add benefits to all 6 of these pillars. Our network kind of creates that extension of our culture and differentiates our employee experience. It shows employees that even if they do choose to leave us, they're still an important piece of this organization and that they can come back at any time. We still care about where they're going and what they're doing. So I'm going to jump into another video, this time of how we announced the launch of our network and asked our former employees to join us. If you weren't awake this morning, now you probably are. So the management of our alumni network does sit in employer brand, and that is within talent attraction. So of course, our main focus is hiring and bringing employer brand to life through the network. So to date, we have over 2,000 members and just over 200 warm leads. So that includes both interested and applied applicants. And essentially, our network is in another channel. It's a new place for us to share the employer brand work that we're doing. We're sharing information about behind the scenes things. We're telling stories, the same stuff we would do on LinkedIn. It's just a more niche and connected channel where our former employees sit. So we really use this network to help shape the perception of our organization and ensure that it's helping our brand reputation, that we're getting referrals, and that we're being part of the employee life cycle. Because again, I think it goes back to the revenue and business case. When your employees leave, they're going to talk about who you are and what their experience was like. So why not improve that as you go through it? So we focus on two key areas within our employer branding within the alumni network, and those are employee spotlights and then celebrating aspects of our culture. So the employee spotlights can vary from having a recruiter share an article speaking to the alumni population about improving their resume, not to come back to us, but just in their general job search, or a story about how somebody came back as a boomerang hire. And then we also talk about achievements and things that are happening in the business so they can stay connected even though they're not working for us anymore. So this really allows us to repurpose all of our employer brand content that we're already creating and just putting it into the world in new formats and sharing things like game launches and other things that we're doing. Now, all of the ways that we personally promote this are through email communication. So we have a one-sided network right now. We don't allow two-way communication. So everything you see here is us communicating to our alumni. And with that, we really rely heavily on email. So as part of our offboarding process, we extend an invitation to all voluntary terminations with a message that highlights someone's importance, and it captures that what's in it for me. So going back to Owen's, people are self-serving, so they want to know why they should join. What are they going to benefit from joining the network? So we really celebrate that, just because you're moving on, we still care about what you're doing and where you're going. So then on the flip side of that, we use monthly newsletters. Those are how we create engagement. We share our alumni stories, different events. A lot of times we highlight different people within the business as that intro to our newsletter. So it's not always my face. It's not always just a faceless alumni network. We really want to put a personal touch on it. And then as we think about the experience that we're creating, we want to create that desire for them to return to us, but also when they talk to people within their network, what are they saying about us? This is an extension, again, of employer brand. What's the perception of our business? So another way that we've utilized our email communications and the way we drive engagement is through targeted promotions. In this example, we just celebrated 20 years of King, and that is Candy Crush. So specifically targeting King former employees. With this email, we thanked the former employees for their contribution to the success of the company. And then we offered a gift. It was like a keychain, just a small gift. So again, the gamification, the reward, and a thank you video from the president of King. This campaign was met with overwhelming success. 79% of people opened it, and then 50% of people then clicked through, which is kind of unheard of. They're our most engaged population across all of our CRM. And that's email marketing for those that don't know the lingo. So we also promoted this in an unofficial King LinkedIn group, which resulted in 24 new members, all people dating pre-2018. So people we couldn't actually connect with through the emails and contact information we had already. And one person from 2015 applied, which is great to see. So again, focusing on our people and the culture and to tell that story and engage with alumni. So the point of this campaign in the video is that we're influencing talent not only in how they perceive us, but as an employer, but potentially even making that decision to return or not. A simple thank you can go a long way. They feel appreciated and they feel seen. So when it comes to employer brand, we're thinking about how we show up for talent, and former employees are our talent. And sometimes they're even more qualified than your average candidates, which Owen got into. So to wrap things up, I'm going to give you 3 key takeaways here as you think about utilizing employer branding within your alumni network. So employees are your voice. They are, they've been through it. They know the organization. They are going to speak on your behalf out in the world, on LinkedIn, in places that you probably wouldn't expect. They're going to talk about their time with the company, and that can change either a customer or a candidate's perception of you. So why not give them experiences that are going to influence them in a positive way? Secondly, your alumni are a key part of your employee life cycle. So how you treat someone after they've left the organization is going to likely increase if they're going to come back in the future. If they left and they never hear from you again, they feel like they've just been thrown off a cliff, they're probably not going to come back. But if you nurture that talent, they are going to think about you when they're looking at a job 5-10 years from now. And then that what's in it for me mentality. So going back to people are inherently selfish. They are self-serving. What's in it for the alumni? Why should they care? Why should they join? Really make it about what they're going to get out of it. A lot of leadership will see that, what's the benefit for the business, but it's going to be really important in your strategy to make sure it's what's the benefit for that alumni. And with that, that's it.